Well, welcome to the Palazzo project. And it's feeling like a little bit of a ghost town here right now because we've finally hit that big roadblock that you see in every HGTV show that always feels like even when they didn't have one, they decided to put one in. But we've hit it. That's what we're going to talk about today. So, what is our roadblock? It's actually not as bad as it could be, but we knew when we first came here that we were going to have issues with the floor that's right up here. And I'm going to go show you what that looks like. So when we first got this, even before we got it, before we made an offer, we brought in a geometra to look at things and tell us if he saw any big issues. And one of the things that he definitely saw was that the floor in this room didn't look as sturdy as he would like a floor to look. So it looked a little bit swoopy. So while our team is at the guest house, which is just part of this house, they had them come up here and remove the tiles. We have our tiles stored outside in what will be Matt's office. And take a look what we've got. And we also looked at it from below. And while we were doing that, actually even before that, we noticed that this room seems to have a step up that the other rooms don't have. And then one thing led to another, which led to another. I'm now walking on a wooden beam. This is what this ceiling looks like, which is much better than what the floor looks like. Again, this is the floor we knew was pretty sure. I'm bouncing on this wooden beam, so sorry we're bouncing for a second, but we pretty much knew that that was going to be a problem. Well, then we decided to look in this room, and we already know that that one steps up. So that one, they just added height to it to make it flat. Instead of fixing it or putting a new one on top, they just leveled it. So that one needs to come out. And then the one in the bedroom, it needs to come out. And while we're at it, probably this one and the one, this is the one I already told you, but to the right there, will all need to come out. What does that mean? Well, that means we're going to have fun jigsaw puzzling all these floors back. And it means that I'm doing a gymnastics routine while I talk to you, balancing on the balance beam. So for example, this floor hasn't come out yet. This one is possibly over a room that doesn't need to come out, but this is what the floors look like. They took out the tiles, they marked them, and hopefully we'll get them all back in the right order. There are places here where you can take these tiles, the cimentino, I believe is what they're called, and somebody can remake them. So it would look like just 1/4 of that flower would be the piece that just repeats over and over. Then there is a special piece for the border and then outside the border. So that's a bummer. And it looks like a ghost town, not just because we've ripped things off of the wall and nobody's here working, but because the other thing that we knew for sure we were gonna have to do is fix the roof. So there's a number of parts where the ceiling has cracked. I'll show you some of this. Again, we saw all that, we knew all that, and we were pretty sure that almost every crack in here is related to water having gotten in at some point. So we knew the roof was gonna need to be replaced, so that was in our budget. The problem is, the little hiccup is really a time hiccup. Yes, we have to replace these floors, and I'm going to tell you the good news about replacing floors and working on the roof. But yeah, we have to wait because you need to start at the top. You don't want to like fix something we're on the second floor, also known as the piano nobile. We don't want to fix something on the second floor and then work on the roof, which could have construction work that damages the floor. We're going to work very hard at preserving the ceilings and frescoes as much as possible. This one was put in a little later. It's in a little bit different kind of damage, so we'll see about this one. But we're going to try to preserve all those really cool frescoes and ceilings we have. We're going to take lots of pictures. They're going to work to support them and do everything they can, which is good. I'm still hoping that I can help do some of the restoration, but I don't know anything about the construction and keeping them up there. I just know how to match colors and how to find the right type of equipment, and that you only want to use stuff that can be reversible by somebody else in conservation. So we've got to start at the top, the roof. And you can't do the roof in Sicily until May, hopefully. Last May was the rainiest May in Sicilian history that I have heard of, or at least that's what everybody told me. It rained and rained and rained and rained and rained and rained. So hopefully this May isn't looking as rainy, but we can't start on anything until we can do the roof, and then we'll start at the top and come down. So we're gonna do the roof. We're gonna do the floors that happen to be in the casa, in the main house, but over the guest house. And then we'll finish the work just like we were doing. We've got all our appliances. We've got a lot of the stuff roughed in. So we'll work on that, and then we'll be living in there. And then we'll come back over to the casa and finish it up. So why am I not too upset? Well, we have a place to stay. In fact, today we just got our official residency here in Piedimonte Etneo, so we're officially residents in our own town where we own a house, which is fantastic. The authorities that came like within an hour. You're supposed to have up to 45 days, and in the last town we lived in where we got our official residency for the first time in Italy, it took 70 some days for me, and they lost Matt's paperwork entirely. So this was much different, and the police officer came, was fantastic, and we can talk about that another time. So good news is some of this we knew was coming. We knew we needed to do the roof. We knew we needed the floor. I also am glad we know it now and we're not finding out later. But the really good part is that we will have savings on some things, which will help offset any additional costs. So the additional costs are taking the floor out, taking the tiles out, and then trying to get the tiles back in, and the materials and labor for said project. Really, I think removing all of the sand and sabia and cement and stuff is going to be the harder part than putting new stuff in. But I've also seen them do demolition, and they're very, very good at it. But once we open those floors up, and we open up above the ceiling but below the roof, so we're going to take the roof off, make it watertight, and put tiles back on. Well, when we do that, we don't need to have special retrofitted type of systems put in. We can put air conditioning where we want to put air conditioning. We can put tiny little vents where we want the tiny little vents. So we can put plumbing where we want to put plumbing. We don't have to have some weird plumbing tube going through the middle of the kitchen table. Well, I mean, that wasn't going to happen anyway, but you know what I mean. We have options. I like having options. I'm gonna see if we can get you a little bit of this is a weird day. It's partially sunny, partially rainy. It's one of those days that we have rain and sun, and see if this will, not sure if it's gonna adjust here at all, but it's a beautiful view of the sea. This is the dining room. So, and we're gonna open these doors up to be full windows. Oh, see, that didn't work. I adjusted it, but not well. So you'll be able to sit here if you choose the right seat. if you choose the right seat, I'm gonna stop putting my hand in front of the camera. So if you choose the right seat, you can look out into the sea. And if you look far enough, you can see Calabria, you can see the main peninsula. So that's our hiccup. That's that thing you wait for, an HGTV. Yeah, right, it's great, it's a beautiful house, everything's going great. What, you have termites? What, you live on top of a burial ground? What, we don't have that. We just have to strengthen, and when this is done being strengthened, it will be a very strong house. It already is a very strong house, but the floors will all be great as well. Part of the issue is that they were built with wood, and wood eventually fails. And water's gotten in from it being abandoned and not well loved for a while. So, you know, the wood deserves to fail. You know, I'm not blaming the wood. I don't have a beef with the wood. It's just what happens. So we're very excited. We're going to be getting our plans probably in the next 2 weeks. We can't wait to share them with you. Then we'll be able to put them sort of like here on the screen when we're walking through different rooms. But yeah, so it's a hiccup, it's a ghost town, and everything is on hold. We're in not even the Ides of March, and we're not doing anything until May, maybe mid-May, depending on the rain. But, you know, we've got lots of things to work on instead. We have to find our, well, it's all of our plans. Like, we're gonna get our plans from the architect, Igor, and his colleague, and we get to respond to those and make changes, and then we get to order kitchens and pick out colors and decide what kind of lights we want. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I'm kind of glad for the time. Now that we know we have a place to live and we're residents, we feel part of this, we're not going anywhere. And we have all of you guys watching and taking part in this and leaving us great questions, and like, it's just been great. So, do I mind that there's a ghost town? Well, of course, but I don't have unlimited money and unlimited crews, and you know, you can't always have it perfect, and this house wouldn't be worth it if it was perfect from the beginning. What's perfect about it is that we're getting to put the love back into this house, for us, for the people that'll visit, stay here, have maybe events here, friends, family, the town of Piedimonte. We hope we can do something with, you know, our community, and we're gonna have to do a little work to make that happen. So that's it. So stay tuned. There will still be videos between now and May. We're gonna kind of take you around now. We actually have a little more time. Take you around and show you sort of befores of all of the different rooms, one by one, and I'm excited for that too, because she's special and I like to share her. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching. If you like this, well, I mean, it's okay if you like this video, if you give it a thumbs up, even though it's bad news. Like, thumbs up for support, but subscribe if you want to follow more. We're going to take you through the entire process. We have some interesting guests that are going to help us with the design of the kitchen and interiors beyond what our really great architectural team is going to do. So it's going to be a fun ride, regardless if you ever going to open or buy a Sicilian Palazzo. There's a lot to learn from anybody's construction project, and we're really happy to have you here while we do it. So thanks for listening in on the news, and we'll see you in the next video.